It's a January book haul. Y'all, look at this. This feels insane. My name is Carissa. My goal is to read 200 books this year, as well as publish my first novel. I've read 31 books so far this year. I love a good book haul, and I wanted to share with you all the books I bought in January. Kind of surprised that I've bought this many books so far. January is my birthday month, so I feel like that played a lot into it. I just bought them at like random times though, and it's super compounded. Let's get into it. I bought The Assassin's Apprentice specifically because I don't know much about it, but from what I do know about this book, it is a like your traditional type of fantasy type of novel. Magic, I love assassins and that whole like storyline, which is kind of fun. My guess is that it will be like Throne of Glass. Like Throne of Glass meets like Arthurian legend. The next, I bought the Inheritance games. I actually did buy this specifically for my husband. I read the digital version as well as the rest of the series from my library. I borrowed them digitally, but again, he loves a physical book, so I bought this for him. It's like a Knives Out young adult style. It has It has riddles and puzzles. I think if you're someone who likes to try to solve a mystery and always guess and trying to figure it out, this book is for you. I love when characters are smarter than I am, and I feel like that's true in this book. One of my goals for 2023 is to expand my genre reading. I normally read a lot of fantasy, romance, young adult, within that realm, literary fiction especially. So I bought On a Sunbeam. It is a young adult graphic novel, queer sci-fi. I read this probably in a day. It's so beautiful. It's a beautiful graphic novel. I haven't really read graphic novels much at all, and I was surprised at how much I loved this medium of storytelling. Look at this. It's just so beautiful. If you're looking to expand your genre reading, I think this is a really easy one to start with. I'm so glad I bought the physical copy too. I can't imagine reading this like on a phone or Kindle or something like that. It's a really cute story too about lost love and coming of age, all those like tropes, but it's sci-fi. This book really came out of left field for me. I wasn't intending on buying it, and I try to stay very loyal to my TBR. I'm not a just pick up a random book type of gal, although that sounds very fun and spontaneous. I hope to one day do that more. Was carrying a few books, and I was looking for A Song for the Wild Built, which is phenomenal. I just read it recently. I want to buy it now for sure. I was a little skeptical because it's so short if like I wanted it, but that is something I will reread over and over again. It's beautiful. Anyway, they didn't have that book, but she was like, hey, it looks like you're really into fantasy and like kind of epic adventure based off of some of the other books I was carrying. She's like, I really recommend this book, The Stardust Thief. I read it. My expectations weren't super high. It started out very much with the tropes of 1001 Arabian Nights and that storytelling, and it took on a whole new life, and it was phenomenal. If you go back and watch my video of my January recaps, I talk about it way more there, but I highly recommend this book if you like fantasy and you're kind of over the like old medieval English settings. It's really fun for that. I'm so glad I bought it. This is another book I bought for my husband that I really want to read too, but I bought it specifically for him. It's Red Rising by Pierce Brown. I've heard it described as like Hunger Games meets Game of Thrones in space. He said that was pretty accurate. He loved it. He's not like a huge reader, and he read it within a couple days. So I'm really excited to dig into it for that. One of my really good friends who loves reading too, she loved the series. I've only heard good things about it. I hope to dig into it in February. This book is having like a revival moment because of Book Talk. It was first published in 1992, which I didn't realize it was that old. The Secret History of Donna Tartt. No, it's The Secret History by Donna Tartt. I am again like on the fence about this one. So I love dark academia, and I love like kind of that pretentious university vibe and feel, which it sounds like this has. But I read Donna Tartt's The Goldfinch. Yeah, I read it a long time ago. I probably read it in like 2017. It wasn't my favorite. So maybe I've grown as a reader. Maybe this book is different. So I'm curious to see how I actually feel about it. But regardless, I'm excited to dig into it. I bought this and a couple others for a video I'm going to do this month where I have like a dark academia week. In lines with the dark academia theme, I got If We Were Villains, which I hear is like a young adult, really pretentious high school Shakespeare people. Honestly, like that speaks to my soul because in high school I was so pretentious. I went to a classical education school for 3 years, and 2 of those years were like my 9th and 10th grade year, and then I went to a public high school for my 11th grade year, and then did like almost completely dual enrollment my 12th grade year. And I just like, I loved reading the classics. I was obsessed with Shakespeare. My 8th grade year to my senior year, I was in A Midsummer Night's Dream, As You Like It, Julius Caesar, and then I directed scenes from Coriolanus. I was a nerd, and I did theater. Like, theater was my life, and it sounds like this book is literally like almost exactly my high school experience. I think I'm gonna really relate to these characters, so I'm excited for that experience. That will be part of that video too. I'm scared that I'm gonna read it and be like, these kids are insufferable. Also, that was me. Probably will be. It's fine. For my birthday this year, I signed up for Book of the Month, and one of the books I was able to get was Babel. This is, again, with my Dark Academia themed week that I'm gonna do this week. That's part of why I bought it. Also, everyone has been raving about it. Here's the thing though. I just read The Poppy Wars. I'm a little scared to read this. When I was done reading The Poppy Wars, I really felt like I needed to digest it for a long time because of how emotionally heavy it was. There were some scenes and imagery in it that were so horrifically violent that I honestly wish I didn't read it, because those images are just now stuck in my head. But I just really wasn't expecting that going into that book. It's so dark and heartbreaking. I finished it and I was like, man, that story sucks. Anyway, I'm really curious now what this book is going to be like because of that. I've also heard that it's somewhat of a retort to The Secret History, so I'm curious to read these in the same week. I've also heard that it's a tonal retort to Jonathan Strange and Mr. Noel, which I read probably 10 years ago at this point. But I'm curious to see how it interacts with those texts. I follow this author on TikTok, and I really like a lot of her mythology and lore type of content she puts out. I was hoping this book would be along those lines, or bring in that expertise. You probably know it by now if you're in the book talk drama of it, but it's Piper C.J.'s The Night and Its Moon. I really wish I didn't read this book, and I really wish I DNF'd it. It's not a good plot. It's super wordy and repetitive and just so predictable. And I didn't know until I was halfway through that there's a ton of drama surrounding how she's treated reviews, and apparently a lot of it's a ripoff of The Witcher. I go into all of that in January's video. I bought it in January. I wish I didn't. It is what it is. And last but not least, I bought The Shadow of the Gods. I have heard so many amazing things about this book from other people who like high fantasy, a Norse-inspired epic of blood and vengeance. I'm really excited to get into it. Here's the thing though, I was going to read it when I finished The Poppy Wars, but I read back-to-back Dark Rise, which is super dark and heavy for young adult, and then The Poppy Wars, which is probably the darkest, heaviest book I've read. And so I really needed a break from all that. So I couldn't read The Shadow of the Gods after, because I feel like this was just going to be more war and death and heavy. It literally says blood and vengeance. So I just needed a break from it. So I might read this next. To take a break, that's when I read On a Sunbeam. That was such a sweet breath of fresh air from the dark heaviness. I hope to get to The Shadow of the Gods next though. I don't know if this is a lot of books to buy in 1 month. Tell me how many books you bought in January so I can feel better or worse about it. I don't think I'll buy this many for February, or really any in February. That's not true. I've already bought some in February. Oops. Tell me if you read any of these books in the comments too, or what you bought this month. If you like these types of videos, make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next week.